Alright, John Oaks here with HANKSTERS Hot Rods here in our Homer City, Pennsylvania showroom, and today we've got another addition to our inventory, this being a 1970 Ford Mustang Mach 1 Fastback on this car. As you can see here, ours is done in the factory color, the vermilion red, as we've taken that information right off of the trim tags and so forth. This car is in very nice shape. The paint's been blocked and polished and really looks a lot better since it has been done so. We've got the steel hood on here. Of course, you've got that factory hood scoop on top, which also has the turn signals mounted inside of the hood scoop, and they do work. So that was a feature that this car came with, and it still retains that feature. So again, obviously, all of our metal, we're going to look down the side of the car to make sure everything's good and straight, and that it all lines up really good. So everything's nice and straight down the side. Our fender to door to quarter panel elevations are all really nice. All of our body lines all match up too on the car. So everything's been adjusted and fitted properly here on our car. Our turn signals on the front and the rear as we get there, they're going to be in excellent shape here. Again, the bezels around them, the bright work looks really good. There's no pitting, they're nice and smooth and polished, and our lenses on all of those are going to be in good shape. No cracks or chips out of any of those. Now our car has 15-inch wheels. They're aluminum wheels. They've got these Hurst covers in them. And then these are a set of Firestone FR710 radial tires, all of which the tread on them look brand new on this car. And they're all the same size. I believe these were the 215/65 R15s. So again, if you ever need to rotate your tires, you're not going to have a problem with this since they're all the same size. Now again, as with all the Mach 1s, they're going to have that Mach 1 cladding or trim down here on the rockers and the door, which ours has, all of which is nice and straight on the car. And of course you see that Mach 1 there. Our door gaps here on the front side as well as on the back side, pretty uniform front to back there. We do have these bullet style mirrors here on both driver and passenger side, and our driver side is a remote adjust mirror too, so you're able to go ahead and adjust that from inside even if your window is up. So we also have the bright drip rail moldings. The other thing we always look for is right through the rain gutters here. I always check the paint, look at the clear coating through there, and everything on this looks really good on this. So again, no problems there. Our bright work or our trim, our moldings around our front windshield all look good too. And again, they're nice and straight. They're not dinged up or dented. They're polished up very nicely. And the windshield itself, no cracks or chips in that. Again, looks really good. It's got the tinting up here at the top, and then of course clear down below. Now as far as our door here, we'll go ahead and open it up. As we always do, we always take a look inside here. We look at our seals and weather strip. All of that's good. The rubber bump stops both on the top and the bottom. Of course, our vermilion red, it continues on the interior of the car. Here is your data sticker right here where it has all of your codes at for the car. Of course, we have the full black interior here. Now these seats are done in the black vinyl comfort weave upholstery. Both the front and the rear seats look good. Factory dash, factory gauges, but we're going to go ahead inside there a little later to talk about all that. Your rear quarter window here, this is in good shape here. There's no cracks or chips in that either. The trim around it looks to be in good shape as well. Then a little further back, the quarter panel. Again, metal is nice and straight, paint smooth and shiny. Your fastback roof here, again, paint's real nice on here. You've got the black rear window louvers here. Then the other thing that you can definitely see is our Mach 1 has the black rear trunk wing on it here too. Again, it's mounted solid. There's not a mark on it. Looks pretty good there. Again, I've already mentioned our turn signals here. You can see that those are done up nice there, polished up. And the lens cover on those is, there's no cracks or chips in that. Now our car has chrome front and rear bumpers on it. Alright, now that we're around the backside of our 70 Mustang Mach 1 Fastback, we'll take another look, just a little different angle at those rear window louvers here. Again, you can see how nice a shape those are in. Nice painted black. Again, look really, really nice. All of the hardware here too intact. Our trunk lid, and I'm not sure how much you can see of this with the wing here, but our gaps the whole way around the trunk lid are very nice, uniform the whole way around, and our elevations with those quarter panels are really good too. Now our Mach 1 again has the Mach 1 decals, the Mach 1 badging back here. You also have the Hurst Equip badging back here also. And then we also have this honeycomb style trim back here as well, with the chrome gas cap, chrome bumper, and then of course all of your tail lights here are all in excellent shape. The bezels around them look great. The lenses themselves look great as well. And then of course down below, in our lower valance here, you can see the backup lights. Again, lenses are great shape on those, as well as the bezels. And then underneath the valance, poking out through here, we have those nice chrome exhaust tips that finish out the exhaust system on this car. We'll go ahead and open up our trunk now. Just take a quick peek inside. First thing we can see is it has that vermilion red exterior all the way in here, also on the underside. All of your hardware here, your bolts and everything are all in great shape for your rear trunk wing. Your weather stripping, it's in excellent shape too. There's no cracks or chips in it. It's nice and soft, so it's going to seal up real good for you the whole way around. You can see your water channel in here. This all looks great too. And then inside, we've got a full-size spare tire with a spare tire cover on it. Matching trunk mat in here as well, that's in great shape as well. And we've got a set of floor mats in here too if you ever need those. Now the trunk floors in these, you don't really have a whole lot to see there, because again, your fuel tanks on these cars here make up a large portion of your trunk floor. So again, if the gas tank's in good shape, you usually have a good floor because that's part of it. So with that said, that's pretty much it for in the trunk. Of course, you got your decal there for your spare tire, your mount, and everything like that. So that's really it for inside the trunk. And around the back side, we'll go ahead and close this up. Alright, now on the passenger side, again, just a lot more of the same that we've already gone over on the driver's side. Again, we're first and foremost, we want to look up the side of the car, make sure everything lines up nice, and it does. So now, from our quarter panel to our door to our front fender, everything falls in line with one another, looks good, body lines all match up, so again, no issues there. Again, our side marker lights here, again, the bezels look good, lenses are in great shape too. All of our paint and our metal work here up the sides of the roof, even across the roof, looks pretty good. Again, everything's smooth and shiny as far as the paint goes. As I mentioned, it's been block and buff, so that all looks really good. Those side windows, or rear window louvers, I should say, those are all in great shape. The hardware, the latches and everything, the hinges, those all look to be in great shape as well. As far as bright work around our side windows, those drip rail moldings, again, nice and straight, polished up really good. Down the rain gutter of this side now, and everything looks good there too, just like the other side did. Door gaps, you can check out the back gap as well as the front gap here, and our passenger side door looks really good. Again, that Mach 1 cladding along the bottom here of our body, all again is straight, looks good on the car. Door handles too, those are very nice. The chrome finish on those, no pitting whatsoever, they're shined up real good. Inside, again, you just have another door label in here with some specs on it here. You've got your weather stripping here, looks good. Rubber bump stops top and bottom. Of course, your black interior, full-length door panels in this car. A little bit of wood grain trim in here too to help set things off. Looks really good, but again, we'll go inside here in just a minute. Door shuts real nice and easy. I've already mentioned the bullet style mirrors here on the sides, both our passenger and our driver side windows. Come up here, you've got the fender mounted antenna, not power, just manual, so you can go ahead and pull that up if you need to, put it down if you don't. The fenders are in good shape. You got the Mustang script emblem down here. Again, 15-inch wheels and tires here on this car. Alright, so now finally here we've made it to the front end. So again, I already mentioned from the very get-go, this is a steel hood. This is the factory steel hood, factory hood scoop. Our hood scoop has the 351 emblems on it, which is what is in this car underneath here. So we'll get to that here in a minute. Again, on the back side of our hood scoop, we've got those hood scoop mounted turn signals, and they do function. Our hood actually fits really good too. Our gaps and elevations the whole way around all look great. Again, elevations look good with the fenders too. Of course, you've got the black striping here too to help divide things up just a little bit on the car. Then down below, again, this is just all stock 1970 Ford Mustang front end. Your grille is all intact. There is nothing that's broke or cracked or anything. It looks good. All of the finish looks good on it too. Of course, you got your Mustang emblem right there in the center. Your headlights, just your traditional sealed beam units, high and low beams, all contained in one lamp here. And then of course you've got that front bumper there that's chrome. Then down below here, you've got the front chin strap or the air dam down here. And that's in great shape too. There's no cracks in that. It's mounted nice and solid and looks good too there. So what we'll do next is open our hood, and here you go. So underneath our hood, you've got all the hood insulation, all intact and all mounted up like it should be. You don't see anything hanging down there. As far as the motor goes, upon running date codes and everything, we feel that this is the original 351 Cleveland motor here. It does have the 4-barrel carburetor on it. I believe when I ran the numbers on it, it's a 600 CFM carburetor. Now we've got a chrome air cleaner on top, just painted valve covers. You do have the breather and PCV valve in those valve covers. As far as the ignition system, that has been upgraded. It's all MSD components. So starting with the distributor here, this is MSD. You've got an MSD 6A ignition box mounted to the driver's side inner fender. Then you have an MSD Blaster 2 coil. You also have a set of, I believe they are MSD 8mm superconductor plug wires. So again, it's all matched up MSD stuff. MSD is really good, so it's going to help deliver a lot better spark to your motor there. As far as everything else goes, though, you've got just the stock heads and everything, stock cast intake for your engine, and you do have the stock cast exhaust manifolds too. But those do empty out into dual exhausts the whole way back through the car, ending off with those chrome exhaust tips out the back of the car. Also, with this car, we've got power steering, and we also have power brakes. So we'll go over some of those components once we have it up on the lift as well, so you get a better idea of what's there. Now this radiator, this is just a stock style radiator here, and I believe on this one we had, it was a steel 4-blade fan. It will not flatten out, so it's going to move a lot of air and help keep things cool for you as well. So that's pretty much it for under the hood. Alright, now we're sitting inside of our 70 Ford Mustang Mach 1 here fastback, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at our interior now. Starting out the door panels, again you have full-length door panels on both sides obviously. Got a little bit of wood grain trim in those as well as in your dash here. So again, it kind of sets things off a little bit. All of the bright work or the trim on those doors all look good. The handles, the remote adjust for the mirror, all the finish on those look to be good. Of course, all of the interior lighting works also. You have the door lights that are out there by the armrests. You also have some lights back here in the sail panels, so to speak, for your interior lights, and all of those are all working. And again, your floor lights, again, all working. Now come inside the interior a little bit further here, and we'll see we've got the factory dash here. The top of the dash is in great shape. There's no cracks in it. Of course, you see your gauge cluster and your gauge panel. That's wood grain trim there, as well as over here, which again, you've got your clock over here, factory clock, wood grain trim. You've got the Mach 1 badging inside. The clock actually works too. That's a little unusual for these old cars. Very seldom do you get one that has that functioning, but this one is working. Now as far as gauges, it's just all factory stuff in here. You've got the alternator gauge, and you've got the 120 speedo to the left of the column. to the right of the column, you've got the combination fuel gauge and temperature gauge, and then right beside that, you've got the oil pressure gauge. Come a little further in, and we can see we've got an aftermarket, probably it's either a custom auto sound or one of the retro sound radios. Now again, I say that because it is a newer radio. It fits right in a stock location, and all of those do. There's no modifications required. So again, all your factory holes and cutouts, they all line up here. So again, a real nice unit here for you, so you can still enjoy your radio while you're out cruising around in your Classic. Now down below that, we've got factory heater controls, and then just below that, they've gone ahead and added in just 2 gauges down here, aftermarket. We've got an aftermarket tach as well as an aftermarket oil pressure gauge. Now the tach, again, I can understand that because there is not one in here, and they've put the 4-speed transmission in here. So that's kind of a nice thing to have there. Now the oil pressure gauge itself, 2 reasons basically why you would have an additional one. Either one, this one quit working up here in the dash, or it may not have been reading accurately enough for the driver or the owner of the car. So they've gone ahead and put this one in that actually tells you what it's at. So again, that's probably the reason for it. You've got the 4-speed center console here. Again, it's got some matching wood grain trim on it to go along with your dash and your door panels here. Factory steering wheel, and then of course you've got these high back bucket seats in here. These are vinyl upholstery with the comfort weave down through the center of them. So again, those seats are in great shape. Also, you've got front and rear seat belts. Even have the shoulder harness belts tied up along the sides here of the headliner. So again, all the seat belts are present. Your sun visors, they're in great shape. There's no tears or frays in any of those. Again, you put them down, they stay down. You put them up, they stay up. Our headliner is in great shape. It's pulled nice and tight. You can tell all of the necessary bows are in it. It looks great. There's no fades, there's no rips, tears. It's up nice and tight. Sail panels, same thing. Those are fitted in nice and flush back there. Those look great. Even all the way back in the package tray back here, you've got a set of, looks like 6x9 speakers back there to go along with your upgraded head unit in here as well. As far as the carpeting goes, carpets look great. There's no fading that I can see. I don't see any rips or tears anywhere. So again, that carpet looks good. And as we mentioned when we were back in the trunk, there is a set of floor mats that go along with this car that if you would need to, you can go ahead and place those in. We just elect to leave them out so you can see the actual condition of the carpet. So with that said, that's pretty much everything to go over here on the interior of our car. All right, now that we've got our 1974 Mustang Fastback Mach 1 here up on the lift, we're going to go through the underside as we always do and point out to you exactly what we have underneath here. So starting up at the front, as we always do, we're going to talk about suspension, steering, and then we'll do a little bit of driveline here as we go too. So as far as the suspension goes, you've got all your factory stock stamp components. You got your lower control arms, got your upper A arms on the car. As far as suspension, the rest of it, we do have a sway bar on the front here. Those frame mount bushings are in good shape, and the sway bar end links on both sides and bushings are both in good shape on this car. Now this is a stock front suspension, so you do have the strut rods up front, and of course with strut rods you've got the bushings up front for those too, and those look to be in good shape there. They're not split or cracked out, they look to be in decent shape. As far as the rest of the steering, we've got power steering. This is power rack and pinion steering on a Mustang here. You can see all of your power steering lines here. But anyways, all of this looks to be in good shape here. Your cylinder and everything look to be dry. Also your tie rods, your ball joints at each end of those look to be in good shape. All the rubber dust boot covers, those are all intact. They're not cracked and not missing. So again, it's going to keep all that grease in, keep any dirt and debris out, and keep those lubricated as they should be. As far as framework up front, you can see our frame rails here. Those are in good shape, nice and straight, nice and square as they come back here. Again, on your Mustang, you don't have a full frame the whole way back through. So it's going to stop here, then you'll pick back up here later on as it goes up over those dog legs up over top of the rear end. As far as the engine, drive line, and so forth, starting at the front, we have what we believe is the original 351 Cleveland motor. We ran all the date codes. It dates out to be a January of 1970 motor. That's what this car came with, was a 351 Cleveland, and that's what's in it. So again, we believe it is all the original motor. Now, as far as the transmission goes, originally this car would have been an automatic car. They have upgraded this to a 4-speed. After running all the pictures and everything that we know about the transmissions, it looks like this is the Ford 432 4-speed manual transmission. So that's what we'll go with there. It does have the cover on the front for the flywheel to help protect that also. The transmission itself, as I look at it here, everything looks to be nice and dry. Got a transmission cross member in here that doesn't look to be too old at all. Looks like it was actually probably put in new here at some point in time fairly recently. That tail shaft mount is in good shape also. And then again, we come back here to the rear of the transmission. Again, I look around the seals, check for any kind of leaks, and it looks all dry back here. We also have our drive shaft here. It is a balanced drive shaft, so that's going to take a lot of the vibration out of your drivetrain. And then we end up here at the rear end, which is a Ford 9-inch rear. This is a limited slip differential with a 3.25 gear ratio in it back here. Now, as far as running gear being wheels and tires, we have all 15-inch. These are aluminum wheels. On them we have Firestone FR 710 tires. They are 215/65 R15s on all 4 corners, and you can probably tell from the tread on these things, these are brand new. So again, you're not going to have any issues as far as tires go. Suspension, again, back up front, just your normal stuff. We do have on the back the multi-leaf rear suspension along with a set of KYB gas adjust shocks. So those are going to help dampen things up in the back end of the car there. And then as far as brakes, we have power brakes, disc up front, drums on the back, so it's going to stop for you real good. It's going to steer, like I said, also real good because again, you've got that sway bar up front. Then in the center here, we'll check out the floors next. So again, our floors here are in pretty good shape. Passenger side looks to be all the original floor pans here. Looks all intact. We've got the little, all your little plugs here for like your water plugs, you know, for your drain plugs. Those are all intact here across. Now the driver's side though, the back pan looks to be the original. Looks like they have replaced the front section of the pan, but again, looks like they did a real good job. They've seam sealed everything up here, cut it out nice and straight, so everything looks good as far as that goes. Brake lines and fuel lines, those look to be routed very nicely, and again, all of those lines look to be in good shape. We do have our emergency brake all hooked up here too, so all of your cables, the front cable, your intermediate cable here that runs this U around here, and then you've got the frame J hook, you got your spring over here too, and of course they go all the way back into your rear cables that end up into your drum brakes there, the e-brake for it. So that's all of your braking, so that's all taken care of on this car and in good condition. Then as far as exhaust, we have stock cast exhaust manifolds on this 351 coming down into the dual exhaust with the crossover pipe here, and again coming back to a set of dual mufflers. Now these look, I can't see any names on them, they might be just turned up around on the top side, but these look like a set of Flowmaster mufflers here. So if they aren't, they're going to be made exactly the same way. And then of course you've got the correct style of tailpipes. They go up over top of the rear end, and then those empty out the back of the car with a nice set of chrome exhaust tips here as well. As I said, we've got the multi-leaf rear suspension, and then the fuel tank. This is just your stock fuel tank. It is in great condition here. Looks to be no dents or dings whatsoever. all the fuel line back to it, all looks to be in good shape. And again, everything looks dry back here. Same thing with the rear end. Everything is nice and dry. I don't see any leaks there whatsoever. So that's pretty much it with the underside of our 70 Mustang Mach 1 Fastback.